Hi, Angie Strickler, 46012, and listening to all this does give me a deep appreciation for all it does take to run city and to run the infrastructure of the city, so I'm very grateful for all the people who are able to put all this together. Thank you. And I'm gonna ask questions just based on the little bit of this I could understand, to tell you the truth. I just wanted to clarify first, the rate charges at the end of the 5 years will be, the increase will be $22 a month, is that?
It will depend on how much you use, but basically, what we're trying to say is, right now, for a 5,000 gallon user, it's about $27.47. And at the end of 5 years, it will increase about 100% to $55.25. It all depends on how much you use, but generally those smaller, 5/8 inch meter and smaller consumption isn't gonna see as big of an increase as those larger users.
Real quick,
Yes.
I was asking this question, because I actually typed that question. Because we're fixing so many of these pipes, is this gonna make them, what's the word that we want? Efficient, thank you. Is this gonna make it more efficient, that will help some of that? Like, I mean, we're losing water.
Yes.
Right, and so if we're not losing as much water, will that make it more efficient, that it will be, maybe not that $22, but it will be better, if that makes sense? If
Yeah.
I'm making sense.
So as I recall,
Question/statement.
yeah, so what I recall Neil saying at the beginning was that your line loss is costing you about $440,000 per year, and basically you're pumping up water, treating it, and then it's going out the pipe, going out the pipe. So you might have, I mean, it's hard to say in another 5 years, but it's possible that the cost might go down by $440,000 a year, but during that time period, you're also gonna have salaries and wages increases, your employee benefits increases, all those things will increase over that 5-year time period as well. So while you'll see some efficiencies probably happening as you replace lines, you're gonna see additional operating expenses.
Okay, thank you.
I want to add to this a little bit, because I want to make sure that sometimes you listen to this and you get high expectations about, because you know, some people will just, will say, well, why don't you just go out and fix all your leaks? Well, the answer to that is, that's about a $250 million deal, and it's gonna take over 20 years to do that. If you just did it starting today, that's what it looks like. So it's not feasible to do that, it's not financially feasible to do that. I work for American Water. I was in Muncie for 5 years. It's a similar city to this one. It's old, has a lot of old infrastructure. We spent about $4 to $6 million a year in main replacement. Our non-revenue water went from 24% to 21%. So sometimes there's this high expectation that, oh, you know, you're gonna go out and spend all this money. That should drop that percentage down way low. The problem is, every year that goes by, your infrastructure is getting older. So same thing with the meters. If you wait too long to change meters, every year you wait, it's getting another year older. So it doesn't always equate to the amount of money that you spend. You gotta be smart about where you spend it, which is why, you know, the engineers help us, you know, set up criteria, which ones we're gonna target and go after, try to give us the biggest benefit of that.
And so, from my understanding, by the end of the 5-year period, we will have $2.8 million every year to spend on maintenance of our water infrastructure. Am I understanding that vaguely right?
Very close. I want to make a distinction that there's already operation and maintenance in the operating costs, and the 2.8 million is for additional capital improvements to invest in capital. So instead of, we're paying for a lot of the projects with debt service, so that's a factor of it, but then 2.8 million is for reinvestment into the system on an annual basis.
And I think all my questions are for you.
Okay.
To be honest. So I had the presentation from last year, and so I noticed that the operating expenses, well, that wasn't so much, but there was one chart where the number was maybe closer to 70 million last year, and now it's over 100 million. Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes, I do.
And so I was just curious, did we add more projects to this?
Yes, so when we were here last time in 2022, we were showing a 57 million, I believe, is the amount of projects, but we also deferred like 57 million. And so now it's been, 3 years since we did that, so now we're needing to do the whole amount. So now we're showing you the cost of doing the entire capital improvement plan.
Okay, so it was all there.
It was all there,
just
it was just,
out.
we actually said at that point in time, it's deferred, and we'll have to come back to you for that second part.
That makes sense. And I think my last question is, are there any other infrastructure projects that can be done alongside these water projects while we're digging already one time, and that might be for, are there gas lines that are being replaced, electric that needs to be buried, is there anything else that we are gonna coincide with this?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, you'd think you could team up with, the gas company or something, go and tear it up one time, but they've got their own, capital improvement plans. They've got their own rate cases they're doing to pay for those, and so something like that would be a very difficult, task to try to team up and do those things at the same time, in the same areas. So, it doesn't usually happen. That's all I can say. It just doesn't usually happen, because it's just not
Not in the
feasible.
plan.
Yeah, it's hard.
Okay. All right, thank you.